Okay, so beginning of session 1 of this membership, I want you to go through a series of questions. All right, I'm actually going to add this to the PowerPoint that I'm doing as well. So we have this as well as something that I can give you guys information on later. So my first question for you is, are you in love with your diet, meal plan, body, health, however you want to phrase it? My question for you is, are you in love with those things? I don't care if you ask yourself each individual question. Am I in love with my weight? Am I in love with my health? Am I in love with my diet? Am I in love with my plan? Am I in love with these things? I want you to really think about it, because if you were truly not in love with your significant other, or truly not in love with owning dogs, or truly not in love with owning cats, would you do it? Would you stay? Would you want to have one? If you hated cats, would you be like, yeah, sure, we'll take a cat, it's fine, right? I guess. Or would you kindly say, thank you, but no thank you, I don't really want that? So why I'm asking this question as question number 1 is because I want you to really think about it. Why do we put ourselves through things that we're not truthfully in love with? Why am I constantly body shaming myself if it doesn't make me feel better? Why am I constantly trying to jump on another app, count points, count calories, count meal plans, do all these things if I'm not in love with it? Why would I want to spend any of my time on this planet truly doing something like that if I'm not in love with it? Now, I know some of you may say, well, if I don't lose weight, my doctor tells me X, Y, Z. Okay. I want you to, for a second, act as if there's no other consequence other than, am I in love? Okay. Am I in love with this thing? If you're not, I want you to start questioning. If I truly loved my body, would I do blank? Okay. If I truly loved my body, would I force myself to work out when I felt sick? If I truly loved my body, would I do blank? Okay. If I truly loved myself, would I constantly be wanting to change how I look in the mirror? Maybe the answer is yes. If I truly loved myself, truthfully, I would accept myself right now. I would truthfully accept myself, love myself. However, I'd love myself now and tell myself where we're going to achieve the goals where I love myself and feel great every day. To me, this is something that I want you to just think of in the back of your head, because why every other plan has failed until now is because you started as a means to an end. When I get there, then. Well, I just need to go back to counting the calories, counting the points, doing crazy exercise. And once I do that, that'll put me back into the smaller size. As I state in everything, do you want to have the life and the body? We're conditioned to believe I'm choosing one or the other. I can only have the life, I can only have the body, I can only have the health. I can't really have all of them in one sitting. I can't really have this, you know. I'm on vacation, I'm loving my life, I'm truthfully enjoying everything. I'm not going to pay attention to work. I'm not going to pay attention to this. I'm not going to pay attention to that. I'm literally just going to 100% be off of my plan because I want to live my life. And then when I come back and I'm sitting in my house and I'm like, God, my body just feels yuck. I started to feel it at the end of the vacation. I started to get bloated again. I started to feel gross again. And I knew I just had to get on my plan. If you were in a relationship with a dog or a cat or a person who mistreated you that bad, right? Who made you sometimes feel good, but then other times the dog would bite you. Like furiously bite you, or your husband would like, I don't know, I don't want to go into that dark hole, but you get what I'm saying. Okay. So that's what we're doing to ourselves. We're choosing, okay, I'm going to be 100% in on this person, and then I'm going to make myself feel massive guilt and shame. And then I'm going to be 100% in on this person and feel massive guilt and shame for what I've done. Okay. We're constantly trading guilt and shame in one angle when we're choosing, now I'm going to have the life versus now I'm going to have the body. And what you want to do is mix those two things together. And how do you do that? Is by asking yourself the question of, am I in love with this? And if you're not, then asking yourself, if I am not in love with this, what could I do to make myself be in love with myself, my body, anything? Okay. I want you to really use these questions as kind of like, I'm sure you're going to have questions along the way. In Kajabi, there's actually you can ask questions underneath each module. So please feel free to ask questions under the modules, and I will gladly answer. But my basis for starting here is because we really downplay ourselves. We really settle for less than we deserve when it comes to our nutrition, when it comes to our fitness, when it comes to our life. We are constantly sacrificing who we are and who we truly want to be because of an agreement we made a long time ago. So when I was 15, I know you all have heard this story. I was called fat by my high school softball coach, who told me I was too fat to play varsity, and a girl who sat next to me in pretty much every class, because back then in freshman year, they made you sit alphabetical order, told me that I was so much fun to hang around in class, but I was too fat to hang out with. Now, I didn't even know what fat was. I will be quite honest. Like, it never really ran my mind. Yes, when I was in grade school, there was a little bit of that, but not really. It wasn't until high school that I became very well aware of like skinny people versus middle-sized people versus bigger people. Okay. I was not fat. I was athletic and I was higher on the BMI chart, sure, for my height, but I was not fat. There was no fat. I was not fat on any chart ever for my height, but I accepted it. I made the agreement with my high school softball coach and that girl at 15 years old that because I was in the middle of a very big life transition, these two people carved out for me a piece of my brain that has a pattern of I am fat and ugly. I added the ugly. It was just deferred because fat meant ugly in, early 2000s when I started high school. Okay. At least in my 15-year-old brain. I accepted that. To this day, it is a pattern in my brain that I can call up. I can literally watch people walk down the street, perfect figure bodies. And I'm like, you don't look anything like that. You're fat. And I have to pause in my brain and say, thank you, pattern. I understand you're there. And I made that acceptance with you. But we don't run that anymore. And I can turn it that fast. And I don't think again about it. When I was 15, when I was 25, when I was 27, when I was 30, oh no, that would send me cycling. I'd count the calories more. I'd avoid foods. I would work out harder in the gym. I would skip dinners. I would do crazy things because I was so triggered to that moment where both of them called me fat within 1 week. So I want to also question here, what agreements have you made around your body from your parents, from your siblings, from doctors, from coaches? I had an interesting podcast the other day. It's not out yet, with somebody who made the agreement because she was a ballerina that she had to weigh a certain amount of weight. So she became bulimic, right? Which you hear those stories all the time for people like that. And she's well over it, but it is still a pattern in her head when she weighs herself and she doesn't see that number, right? So she has to stop that as well. So what agreements have you made? Have they really only been with yourself? Now, I made agreements later on in life too, when I chose to believe nachos and margaritas are bad, but fruit and chicken and brown rice and broccoli are good, right? I chose to accept that agreement back then. I don't have these agreements anymore. Food is food, and we're going to get there as we travel on in this program. But what agreements have you made with your food? What agreements have you made with yourself? What agreements have you made with the diet? I'm only at my skinniest when I follow XYZ. Well, as long as I go back and I pick up that drug that the doctor once gave me, then I'm sure I'll lose it all back. What agreements have you made? Those are things we have to break. Okay. I'm going to give you a cool technique here in a minute that I've been doing literally not long that is helping me immensely move some of the things that are going on with me. Now, this is not weight related, but I'm going to teach you from weight related, pain related, any of the things. So whether it's your health, your pain, you've got thyroidism. I want to talk about that a little bit. I have a lot of clients that accepted thyroidism as a thing in their family because their mom got it, their grandma got it. There is actually a little piece which we'll go into that if you have been silenced as a person, you can actually have thyroid issues, and thyroid issues can evolve because you've been silenced as a person, and thus because you're silenced and you stay quiet, and that's part of like your throat chakra, that is a piece that can get silenced and your thyroid can get messed up, right? So I want you to know there'll be some things like that as we travel on. But what about, I want to share one more story about an agreement that I made. So my grandma had like bowel issues when she was in her upper 30s. I was really young, but obviously my mom remembers the stories. And my mom started to have them in her 30s, her later 30s, where they both just experienced like needing to go to the bathroom a little bit more frequently, having issues in that area. And I think maybe last year around this time, maybe even sooner, but I really think it was last year around this time. No, it couldn't have been because I was 38. I was 38 and a half, and I'm going to turn 39 in October. So it had to have been like in April of this year. See, I have no concept of time anymore. So I remember just being like, gosh, I'm in my late 30s. Like all of a sudden it just hit me. I'm like, wow, I'm in my late 30s. I didn't even process that I was in my late 30s. I'm still thinking I'm 22 or something, And it wasn't long after that, that about 4 weeks later, maybe, that I started to notice having really weird issues with the bathroom. And I was like, oh, I accepted that. Because I've always been told I'm the most like my mother and my grandma. So I accepted that this was a thing. I have done so much work around it that now I don't have the issue anymore because I was like, I am not winding up the irritable bowel. I'm not winding up with these issues these two are still dealing with today. I'm going to end it. So I did a ton of work around it to move that. So it doesn't have to be weight. It doesn't have to be diet. It doesn't have to be anything. Health, body, how you feel when you look in the mirror, any of these things. Okay. Are you in love with it? Are you getting the results that you want? Where is the holdup? And really analyze, why am I even doing this? What is the purpose of counting calories? Well, the purpose of counting calories, Leslie, is to lose weight. Okay. Why do you want to lose weight? I feel better when I'm at a lower weight. Okay. What does feeling better look like to you? Well, feeling better looks like to me the ability to run around with my kids, or the ability not to want to sleep 7 times a day, or the ability not to get out of breath when I walk upstairs, which I think most of us do unless we're really stair trained. But anyways, whatever it may mean. Okay. But what's at the bottom of that? What's truthfully at the bottom of that? If you dove a little deeper, being able to play with my children means fun, connection, love, being there for them, feeling good about myself, feeling enough, feeling worthy. Those things are deeper. That's the real purpose of it. Can I do something else right now that would allow me to feel worthy and enough so I can speed up the process? That's a piece. So I'm having you answer these questions early on because I want you to look into them. Okay. So like I said, you're going to get the Q&A and everything recorded. And underneath it, I'm even going to have all these questions. But I want to give you an experience that will help you to wire things in the chat, if you have ever, has anybody ever done tapping before? You can just write yes in the chat if you have. Give me a second, drink of water. Or heard of tapping? If you haven't heard of tapping or you haven't tapped before, you don't have to say anything, but if you have, please feel free. I'll give it a minute. I'm also going to show you what I wrote down while I do that. So I'm going to share my screen again. So I just kind of wrote down the questions like, are you in love with your diet, meal plan, body, health? If I truly loved my body, what would I do? If I'm not in love with this, what could I do to make myself be more in love with myself, my body? And then really asking yourself, why am I doing this? Really ask yourself. Really, this is a great question to really think through. Why am I doing this? What is the point? A lot of times we just feel like we have to do it. Well, I have to do it. I mean, dieting is a part of my life. I've been dieting since I was 10 years old. How do I stop now? It's just something that I do. It's something I add to this list. It's something that I make myself feel bad for. It's something that I force myself to do. Why am I doing this? Really write it down. What's the root cause? And, truthfully asking, getting a little deeper with what does like the end picture that you're going for, what does the end picture really give you? Okay. So if I'm thinking about, I'm at my ideal health. I don't feel tired anymore. I have lots of energy. I'm off medications. I'm at the weight I want to be, or I'm at least in the clothing size I want to be. What does that end picture really give me? What is it going to give me? What is it going to do? How am I going to feel? Okay. How am I going to feel? What am I going to think? Is it going to let me type? Okay. How am I going to feel? What will I think? Etc. Okay. Asking yourself those probing questions. All right. Okay, cool. I got nothing in the chat. So I'm assuming you've never done tapping before. So I started tapping for multiple other reasons. Tapping is like basically what I've understood to be acupressure points, and it calms your nervous system. So part of what we'll get into as well that I've been teaching a lot is that your vagus nerve is a huge piece of this. So your vagus nerve runs basically your whole digestive tract, okay? It runs through it. Our vagus nerve is so jacked up. If we were ever raised in a society where, we were taught more to like sit down, shut up, or you can't go to the bathroom now, it's not the right time, you're in class, or you can't eat, it's not time. If there was at any point in our life that we were not able to eat, drink, pee, poop freely, if we've ever had any moments of fight, flight, or freeze that we just never handled, a car accident we never handled all the way through. I like to think about this as I fell. I love living in Spain. I love living in Rota, Spain. However, their streets are not the greatest at certain points. And there's this really big downtown street that kind of curves to the middle. So that way it kind of gets flatter. So the water comes in because they have every place you go is open air, even though it's deathly hot right now. Every place you go is open air. And the water has to drain down if and when there's water, right? And they literally have to wash their streets very frequently because we don't get a lot of rain here. So everything drains. And I was walking, paying attention to two friends that were right behind me. And I stepped a little bit on the grate that was slightly off kilter. And I tripped and I fell. Like, oh, wow, I just fell in public, right? And normally when that occurs, we rapidly stand up. We rapidly stand up like, oh my God, I can't believe I fell in public. I fell in public. People think I'm stupid. Okay. Like, and so I stood up really fast. And because of the training I've done, I actually paused and I thought, okay, am I okay physically? Minus the fact that I'm a little embarrassed. Luckily, half these people speak Spanish, so they were talking to me in Spanish and I know what they were saying, but my brain, when it's in a panic, is not responding in Spanish. It doesn't have the clicker. If I've just woken up or there's a panic, I don't think in Spanish. I think in English, and it's too hard for me to convert to the other brain to speak back to them in Spanish. So I was just kind of stunned. And my two friends who obviously speak English were just like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm okay. Nothing's broken. Nothing's hurt. My ego's a little bruised, but I'm going to process it, right? Because I gave myself the second to process and we continued around the corner to where we were going to sit, I processed and I sat down and I really sat there for a second with myself. Okay, am I okay? I'm a little embarrassed, a little shocked. I'm not bleeding. I definitely got a little road rash on my elbow, but that's okay, right? It's not bleeding. It just has to get a little bit of Neosporin when I get home. Okay. I process the feeling so it wouldn't remain in my nervous system. When we're not doing that, it remains in the nervous system and that can live in us. And that fight, flight, or freeze, building our stress level up, will keep us in this place of inability to digest as well, inability to run our metabolism as well. Okay. So if you've never watched the Digestion Coach Masterclass, I really equate it on a wave. We should always be at our baseline stress level and then coming up to highly stressed, right? So at that moment, I was highly stressed because I hurt myself. And then I did the right processing and I came back down to baseline. But if we're not taught the right ways to release our stress, eventually our baseline comes up higher. And we're living at a higher elevation of stress, unknowing that we're not coming all the way down. And by not coming all the way down, we cannot run our metabolism efficiently. We cannot digest efficiently. We wind up with lots of problems. Okay. That's why we're winding up with autoimmune diseases later in life. That's why we're winding up with things like, fibromyalgia, which didn't exist until a little bit ago, right? All of these things are showing more linked to our nervous system. So your nervous system does a whole lot of regulation. Okay. Your nervous system also regulates how effective your meal plan is going to be, your diet's going to be, how well you're going to do. So regulating your nervous system around what you want will help. I can definitely post some YouTubes underneath if people want to watch YouTube videos on this. Most are for anxiety, anger. There are some for like food and emotion and stuff like that. I haven't done it because I don't do a training in it. I'm not trained in it, so I don't feel like I should be posting it anywhere. But once you get the technique, you could literally teach tapping to anybody, okay? The key with the tapping is that you start with the words even though, okay? So we're gonna say, basically, even though I am not at my ideal weight, health, body, life, whatever you wanna say, at the current moment, I still completely love and accept myself. Okay, I will copy that into the PowerPoint as well. So you have that. Tapping. Okay, oops. Okay. So to do tapping, there's points that you do. It doesn't matter how many times you tap, but the first one you're going to do, here comes my 5-year-old. Oh, and 3-year-old. Hold on. I knew they were going to wake up from nap. They just have to know I'm on a call. Hey guys, I'm on a call, okay? Can we be quiet? Okay. All right, cool. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is what we call the karate chop point, okay? It's right here on the palm of your hand, AKA your karate chop point, okay? So you take 2 fingers. You can take more fingers if you want to, but I typically do 2 here. And you're going to say, even though I'm not at my ideal weight, health, body, life, whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter. You can say them all, okay? Even though I'm not at my ideal life yet at the current moment, I still completely love and accept myself. And then you're going to move to the top of your head, okay? And you're going to say, even though I'm not at my ideal weight, health, whatever, I still love and accept myself, okay? Now you don't have to say, you want to say it fully 3 times, but you don't have to do it for each one. So I want to explain that we're going to say this 3 times and I'm going to talk you through each point, okay? And then you're going to tap right here at your eyebrows and say, even though I'm not at my ideal weight, health, life, body, whatever, at this current moment, I still completely love and accept myself. And then you're going to move down. It's going to be kind of right under the temples, and you're going to do the same thing. You don't have to say it anymore. You can change it, whatever you want to do, okay? Then you're going to come right here at the ridge between your nose and your mouth. Then you're going to come here at the crease of your chin. And then I've been taught 2 different things. So you can like come from your clavicle down an inch, or I've also been taught that if you go like this with the palm of your hand, you'll hit where it is. I kind of like the palm of my hand when I want it to be more intense. And I feel like I'm kind of covering my heart and other things as well. And then last but not least, you want to come down from your armpit about a hand width, or like right below your bra line. And I typically hug myself, okay? So we're going to do a whole round of it. We're going to do 3 rounds. I'm going to move my hands. You can feel free to move your hands with me. If you're just watching the replay or just watching and catching up, that's okay too. Okay. I'm going to use life. I'm actually not going to use life. I'm going to use health. Okay. Actually, I'll use body because I still have that mechanism in my head. Okay. So I'm going to say, even though I'm not at my ideal body at the current moment, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm not at my ideal body I completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm not at my ideal body, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm not at my ideal body, I still completely love and accept myself. And I allow my nervous system, see, you can mess up too, it's okay, to become regulated around the fact that I truthfully can have it all. I can have the life and the body that I want. I can have the health I want. I can have it all. And I can start right now by completely loving and accepting myself right now, where I'm at. Rewiring my nervous system, completely loving and accepting myself. Okay. Now, one thing you can do when you do this, you can do this short, long, however you want to. I typically spend my mornings tapping around some of the things that I do for 13 to 18 minutes. Kind of depends, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but I typically somewhere in there. I tap before I go to bed. I tap sometimes before important calls. Just kind of helps me to regulate. I feel good. How do I know I feel better? If you were to start this, you typically rate whatever's happening: anxiety, anger, fear. I'm having anxiety over what I ate this weekend. I'm having anxiety because Leslie hasn't handed me a meal plan and I'm supposed to have that if I'm supposed to be successful here. Or I'm having anxiety around the fact that I'm supposed to hang out with 17 people this weekend and I already know what's going to be involved food-wise and I don't want to eat any of it because I'm going to feel massively guilty and I have to start all over on Monday. Whatever it may be that could be going through, you can do this around anxiety, you can do it around fear, you can do it about body shame, you can do it about this. Because right now, if you have a goal that you've been working on for over 6 months and you haven't achieved it, you're no longer in nervous system regulation because you feel like you've been going for it and you haven't succeeded. And so the tapping, okay, so karate chop, top of the head, right where your eyebrow starts, a little bit below the temple. I think I forgot the eyes, right below the eyes. Sometimes I was forgetting those. Right below your nose, right in the crevice of your chin, right on your, I really like to do this one. It's really like right below the clavicle. And then around, giving yourself a hug about a hand width below your armpit. Okay. And I'll throw some YouTube videos in there if you guys want. So please feel free to let me know. That will help you to become more into, I get to be this person. That's why I asked you these questions, because we can start tapping around who that person is. Okay. We can start bringing in you being in your right health, and it's going to help. It's going to really change things. So you rate the level of worry, fear, anxiety, what's kind of going on before the tapping and then after the tapping. It doesn't matter what I say in the tapping, my anxiety drops like crazily, or my worry or fear or doubt or lack or whatever is going through my head. If I tap, I literally tap back into flow. It's like, oh, okay, right. I'm still here, still chugging away, still a human that needs water. Okay. Now I'm going to open it up. We got about 16 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions that they had before the program that they want to have answered? Any questions on the program? Any questions where to start? Any questions on anything I did today? Anything not clear? I want to open it up to you guys to speak. You have the floor. So you can either choose to unmute yourself or you can pop the question in the chat. I'm going to give it just a little bit of time here. I'm actually going to nope, that's fine. I don't really care. Okay. I'm going to give you guys time to write that, and then I'm going to explain what I'm going to put. Affiliate program, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to put affiliate program and module 1 questions. Okay. And then I'm going to show you this. Okay, so far no questions. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so this is going to be populated below. So you're going to get in your modules, okay, Q&A, wholeness health membership Q&As, okay? Because I did this in 2 separate recordings. The first recording is going to be the nuts and bolts with the affiliate program, okay? And the second recording is going to be about what we talked about. So here's the affiliate program. How it works is going to be there. I did put the 2 links in there for you to sign up if you want to be an affiliate and to sign up if you want, and that's your login, okay? So after you sign up, you do this. This is your login. If and when you sign up, I need to know so I can send you the 2 links you will send to people, okay? So they can enroll in this. And then these are the questions that we went through today. And then this is the tapping, the even though piece. And why don't I go ahead and do this? I'm going to put in, if I put in my YouTube, it should go to my history. I think there's a way to do history on this. I don't remember. I'm way more used to looking at my history on my phone. There's my history. I actually copy pasted a few of, or not copy pasted. I actually Googled a little bit more. Let me see if I can share the link from the dots. Share. Okay, I'm going to actually share with you guys in here the few that I watched. Nope. Is that not copy? My computer's getting angry at me. Share. See if that did it. Nope. I don't know why it's not sharing it. So let me see. I will copy paste those few links though in there too. Just on the emotional, it's called the emotional freedom technique or tapping, and then a quick tutorial on it. I really liked her too. He's pretty good. I mean, he's the one that technically made it, but I think that's his wife, and I don't know why. I just like her descriptions better. So it's just my own personal bias, but I'll add those to the PowerPoint too. And then if no more questions or anything, I'm going to leave this as here. Our next call is on the 25th of July at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys will get a link the day before. In the Kajabi portals, as you're going through, like I said, underneath the videos, there should be a spot for questions. If for some odd reason you ask a question and it's not answered within 2 days, please message me because I really should be able to see that. But I don't know. I've never had anybody ask questions below the videos yet. So if you do and I don't give you a message, please literally contact me for it. And then again, if you want to do the affiliate thing or you have any questions or anything's unclear, please feel free to message me. Outside of that, happy tapping. Trust me, it changes your life. And I love this. Remember that at the end of every single day, your goal is only to get 1% better. Be 1% better than you were the day before. And why I'm bringing that up with this is because this is a lot of questions and maybe a lot of new things that you haven't heard of. Start with something small. It can be questions that you've never even been able to answer before. I don't know why I diet, Leslie. I just do. I don't know why I eat this way. I just do. So asking yourself at first can be very challenging. But if you gave yourself permission to sit with it, journal, have it run in your thoughts for a day, you'd come up with something completely different if you allow yourself to really think through it. So if you're hitting any roadblocks too, feel free to drop in the questions as well. And I am super excited to be on this journey with you. So outside of that, I'll say bye for now, and I will see you all on the next call. Bye, guys.